What radio? The music you want.
Don't tell me you've never heard of me. The world's biggest windbag?
With your host, Keys Dan.
God, I love my work.
RadioWhat.com. What's up, party people? It's Keys Dan with RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com, coming to you live and in living color from the Radio What studios. And this is my podcast, What Makes You Famous. It's an extension of the RadioWhat.com internet radio station that I've been running for quite some time. And if you need DJ services, where do you go? DJLittleRock.com. Check availability and get a free price quote. And maybe you can have me, yes, me, at your next event. Let's see. Today on the program, I'm very excited. We're going to be talking fashion with Anna of Pret Fashions out there in El Paso, Texas. So you have that to look forward to in your ears in the next few minutes. This week's shows, I'll be at the Old Post Barbecue in Russellville, Arkansas, celebrating their 40th anniversary of being a barbecue joint right there in Russellville, Arkansas. I'm kind of stoked about that. 40 years in business, and you get to be a part of it. Yes, it's the video dance party karaoke jam. It's the family-friendly video dance party karaoke jam at the Old Post Barbecue in Russellville, Arkansas on Thursday night from 6 p.m. until 9 in the p.m. So, yeah, come on out, have some good barbecue, celebrate with us. They also have frosty beverages for the adults, just in case you want to imbibe. But you know I keep the show family-friendly, so bring everybody. It's a good after-school treat, and it's a celebration. 40 years in business. Old Post Barbecue, Russellville, Arkansas. Be there Thursday, 6 to 9. And then on Friday night, my regular Friday night show at the Rab in Conway, Arkansas. Video dance party, karaoke jam. Yeah, I said karaoke. You're the star of the show. They got the full bar. This one is an adults only, over 21 show, by the way. So leave the kiddies at home. Hopefully not by themselves if they're little. But no judgments here. Maybe it was a little judgy. Come on out to the Rab. Full bar, the kitchen. They got the pool tables. There's 10 diamond pool tables. I don't know what diamond pool tables are, but it sounds impressive. They got a pool tournament every Friday night at the Rab. Come be a part of that. You can make some money while you're hanging out, waiting to sing a song with little old me. Big giant dance floor, all lit up. And out on the party patio, they got shuffleboard and foosball. You got the foosball, Bobby Boucher? Yes, you do. So come on out and join me at the Rab, Conway, Arkansas. Friday night, 8 p.m. until last call, which is usually about 2 in the a.m. Yeah, we'll stay out past your bedtime and get you home at a sensible hour. And then on Saturday night, oh, yeah, private party. You're not invited. It's the 80th birthday party. I'm kind of stoked about that. I talked to the birthday boy. He graduated in the late 50s, and so I get to play music from the golden age of rock and roll. And the crooners, he already asked for some Frank Sinatra and some Dean Martin and the like. So, yeah, kind of stoked about that. I like doing different kinds of events. All right, party people, I think I've talked your ear off enough. Let's talk to Anna from Pret Fashions out there in El Paso, Texas. Calling Anna now.
Hey, Dan.
Hello, Anna. How's your day?
How's it going?
Oh, it's so good.
Oh.
So good to talk to you.
Awesome. How about you?
Oh, it's super duper. I mean, I've been thinking about fashion all day long. And what's been running through my head, of course, is David Bowie's fashion. It's been the earworm in my head all day long. It's what happens when you start thinking about fashion. Or at least, maybe I'm projecting. That's what I think about. So, Anna, you're on the What Makes You Famous podcast. You've You're here to tell your story. Give the people a little idea of who you are, Anna.
Okay. Thank you. Great to hear your voice, Dan. I'm from Texas, originally from California. I've just always been coined a fashionista since birth. My mother's family from Argentina came down to Mexico, and they had department stores for many years. And now she came here to the States. I'm here from America, born and raised. I was born in California, and I've just always had that je ne sais quoi or knack for fashion, making a statement. People, might see you as an average person. Sometimes when you're in a big city, but definitely when you're in your own realm, people are like, wow, you look great. You're so well put together. I saw something similar, in a magazine, or I saw a girl on TV wearing something similar, or wow, I follow, the Hadid sisters, and I noticed that you kind of have their same style, and I want to share that all the time there's going to be some type of influencer, whether it's Madonna, Elvis, Drake. Somebody's going to be there kind of setting the bar into what the masses or the general public might want to wear or their type of lifestyle gear.
Fantastic, Anna. Now you've given us a baseline, where to start, where to begin. You're from Cali. And should I be calling you Anna, or is there another thing that you like to be called instead of that?
Well, I do have a clothing store. It's a boutique, and we're also online and on social media. And it's Pret Fashion. In French, en français, which means ready to wear.
Pret à porter is French for ready to wear.
Yes.
I just learned something new. Hey, I didn't know we're going to be learning French today. It's what the French call I don't know what. I know, you just said that.
Ready to wear.
You said that in French. Je ne sais quoi. I don't know what. So we're multilingual. Do you know many languages?
Absolutely. Of course, English, Spanish, and French.
All right. Well, I'm from Miami. I'm half Cuban, so I know English, bad English, and a little and broken Spanish.
English?
Yes, English, bad English, and broken Spanish.
I love it.
Necesito practicar mi español.
Perfecto. Aquí lo podemos practicar muy bien.
All right. We're going to lose half the listeners right about now. Everybody hit the SAP.
No, let's continue to keep fashion going here. Well, so, Dan,
yes.
I'm just so lucky to be on your What Got You Famous list here, and I'm very excited and thrilled that you were able to pick me to be on your show, and I'm super excited.
Hooray! I'm excited on this end as well. And so you're in Texas now, right?
Yes, I am. In fact, I'm wearing a cowboy hat and boots right now, if you could see me now.
Oh, don't be so on the nose, Anna. Come on. Now, prove you're in Texas. The stars at night are big and bright.
Back in the heart of Texas.
She proved it. She did it. That's the Pee Wee Herman test to make sure that we're in Texas. Yes. Remember the Alamo.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, so, you started in California. Let's go back to your humble beginnings in the big city. What part of California again?
Los Angeles.
Oh, okay. Not so humble beginnings. You were in the big city of Los Angeles. Been to L.A. many times. Enjoy it. Fantastic. I'm from Miami, the East Coast, but I do enjoy the West Coast from time to time. How long were you in Los Angeles?
Oh, gosh, we moved here to Texas when I was about 8 in third grade. So, but I always go back. In fact, I'm going in a few weeks. I'm going to go see Madonna, the Madame X tour.
Is this Madonna? Oh, I haven't seen Madonna since I guess it was the 90s was the last time I saw Madonna. I was working on the radio in Miami, so I did have the opportunity to meet a few people. But yeah, I guess briefly. We never. I never got to interview her, but certainly, I've touched her hand. We've shook hands before.
Wow! So now we're 3 degrees of separation, Dan. Fantastic.
Win. So yes, I mean, she was very busy at the time I met her, and just yeah. But yes, been an icon since the '80s. One of the first things I remember about her was maybe it was an '85 interview that she had on MTV, and she said she was going to take over the world, and in essence, at least fashion-wise and music-wise, she did. She did. She
has conquered the world. You're right about that.
That's sure.
Exactly what she coined.
So to have her as a fashion icon, yeah, you could do a whole lot worse. She changed her image. It seemed monthly, but it was probably a little longer than that. Maybe it was yearly, but it felt like monthly there was a new Madonna. How could she change herself so much? She had, she started out with the bangles on her wrist, and then she had the true blue era where she was short blonde hair, and I really enjoyed that era of Madonna, true blue. But truth be told, I think "Respect Yourself" was my favorite Madonna song. What's your favorite Madonna?
Oh my gosh, I really love Ray of Light. Right now, off her Madame X album, I love it's called Medellin. I really love God Control.
Yeah.
And if you see it, it's the fashion. I really love the whole 70s influence on the, video, and it's got the political message. And, it's just so, you have to see it. It's like a movie.
Yeah.
You have to see the video. So recommend everybody out there to look up on YouTube. If you're not familiar with it, it's Madonna God Control.
Do it. And she's been doing it all these years. It's so amazing that she can still reinvent herself, with doing the dance music. She's more electronica now, right? With maybe a little Spanish influence as well.
Well, Madonna, let me tell you, she's got a good brain on her, and she's got a team that really backs her up. She's got a ton of people, from makeup artists to influencers to, musicians, dancers. So she can really, take off and put on a goat show. And then she's not just, a fashionista. She's also a mother. She's adopted kids from Malawi. She's got her Malawi Foundation. She's trying to, get with climate control. And, she's got the word and the power to get out there and influence people.
Excellent, Anna. I mean, if there's anybody that you're going to look up to as an icon, like I said, you could do a whole lot worse than Madonna. Madge herself, Madonna Chicone.
That's right. She is a queen of pop. But going back to fashion,
let's go back to L.A. What do you remember about L.A.? And you said you still have family there that you'd go back from time to time.
Oh yeah, I go all the time. I'm there at least a few times a year, 3-4 times a year. On occasion, I go to market because I do have a boutique. I go to New York as well. I still have a line of clothing. I don't right now, but I'm getting ready to put out a collection for the holiday. That's what I'm currently working on right now.
What?
And some of it are T-shirts with, sayings on them. And you can definitely contact me. I'll give you my information at the end of the show where you can go online and order them. You can follow me. And on a daily basis, I'll be posting, designs and T-shirts that you can buy online for men and women.
Now, how long have you had your own clothing line, Anna?
Oh, gosh. Originally, I started off when I was in school. I went to the Art Institute of Dallas. I started off there. I had my choice. I was going to go to FIDM. I was going to go to FIDM,
Yes.
which is a Fashion Institute of Design and Merchandising, and I could have been with Anna Sui
With
there, but then Anna Sui, she's a designer.
who? Well, all right. Hey, you're
I could
schooling
have
me.
been, I could have been with her class, but, that was during the Northridge, earthquake, and so many things were happening that at that point we just decided that I should just maybe not stay in or go to LA rather than just go to another school, which my second pick was Dallas.
Well, full disclosure, in high school, the last 3 years, 10th, 11th, and 12th, I was in fashion marketing. I was part of DECA, Distributive Education Clubs of America. I went to the Art Institute of Miami, and that was going to be a possibility for me. But after high school, I decided to take a different route. So that way, I did make my own clothes in high school for a fashion show. Yeah, I'm interested in fashion. I like fashion. When you said Art Institute of Dallas, you sent me back to a time when I was. It was one time that I designed my own clothes for a show. But you designed your own clothes. What got you into that? I mean, you say you did it in school. Which school? The one that you were in Dallas?
Oh, no, I would say since I was about 13.
Oh.
I wanted to, we're on a border city, El Paso and Juarez, and I was
I know that town.
Goth. Yeah, I was a little punk, goth, and, you have your MTV, you watch the videos, you get influenced, you're like, oh my gosh, I gotta have that. But here, it's not like, oh my God, there's Melrose Avenue, I can go to War Babies or Nana's, nothing like that. So what I would do, it was great because it really shaped me to, who I am right now. For example, I was watching 120 Minutes. I was watching Susie and the Banshees, for example.
Yes.
Oh my God, I've got to have that dress.
Peekaboo.
So mentally, I know this was before cell phones. You might, put the VCR and videotape or whatever. So I would get a mental picture. I already knew what I was looking for. I was forced to either try to find the fabric or I would go thrifting. I would go thrifting and find a vintage dress that I can reconstruct to what I wanted it to look like. And also, I used to dance for many years. I started dancing when I was 3. So for me, I would, put on MTV, and then it could be anything. It could have been like Madonna. I would learn her routine. I would go to the club, wear her outfit, and just take over the dance floor, do a little routine for the music, and that was my life. I really enjoyed it.
So what took you to? Okay, we're going to unpack all the dancing and the costume making. What took you, your family, from L.A. to I guess El Paso? Was it or what part of?
Yeah, it was my dad's family. He had some family here, and he said that it'd be better for the kids growing up in, Texas as opposed to California and that kind of thing. But we've always traveled over there.
If you were looking over the border at Juarez, it was El Paso, correct?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, because I did take that trip across country from Florida all the way, on the 10 to the 8 to
San Diego.
to San Diego. I've done that trip a few times, but it must have been pretty interesting living on a border town. And your family, did they speak a lot of Spanish in the house, or was it mostly English?
Mostly English. Yeah, we speak both languages. In fact, now, I have a child. He's 13. He speaks some Mandarin. I had to pull him out of Mandarin school, but I'm going to put him back in.
Excellent.
So it'd be Mandarin, Spanish, and English.
Excellent. I've been told by people at the Chinese restaurant that, yes, Mandarin, that's the dialect, as opposed to Cantonese. It seems like they're not too different. But if you learn Mandarin, it's the better of the two, I think. So I think
that's correct.
I think you're setting them up for a win there. That's fantastic. There's so many people that speak Mandarin, speak Chinese, I mean, you can. I've gotten so many jobs in my lifetime that I was not qualified for because I speak Spanish. So yes, you are instilling good values into your kids. That says a lot about you, Anna. Good job.
Oh, thank you. Any positive accolades or,
Oh,
welcome.
yeah. From time to time, I will butter your bread in this podcast. Especially if I see do good, I'm going to tell you do good.
Oh, fabulous. I love it.
Yes, quite fabulous. Anna, all right. And I know I keep trying to get your life story, a little bit of background about you, of how you became a fashionista, how you became a pret-a-porter. Pret-a-porter. Am I saying it right? Pret-a-porter or pret-a-porter?
Pret-a-porter. It's like porter, but it's pronounced a little bit differently because, every language has their own phonetics and so forth. But you're doing a great job, Dan.
I got to juice it up a little bit, Anna. Okay, so you had some influence when you were a wee lass of 13. Was it mostly looking at the fashions coming over from Mexico, or was it the Western styles that you saw in
it was,
El Paso?
I would say more European. I would say no. I would say more European. And, just from the music, I think music and fashion, just like David Bowie. I mean, everybody has always mentioned music and fashion go together.
For sure. And speaking of fashion icons, David Bowie, another icon that reinvented himself so many times over the years, from, his Ziggy Stardust days to his Modern Love days. And I'm a child of the 80s. I graduated in 86. What year did you graduate?
90.
90. So you remember when MTV used to play music videos, and you can remember a time you were probably in your room watching those videos, emulating the dancing. And when did you start doing the dancing part? You say 13, you were starting to design your own clothes, but when did you start the dancing?
Oh, I started dancing when I was 3.
Ooh, how did that start?
Well, my mom always danced, and she was in equestrian and also fencing, and she was one of those, I don't
know.
That I look back,
she sounds very well-rounded.
Yes. Now that I think about it, have you ever heard the term tiger mom?
No. Well, I mean, I guess that might be an Asian thing that I've heard of,
Yeah. So there's tiger moms that are just really grooming their children. I remember, there was 4 of us, 2 girls and 2 boys.
Okay.
The boys were the eldest. I'm Jan. I'm the middle. And then I have a younger sister. And I remember it was always like, okay, you got to try piano. You got to try ballet. You got to try karate. It was like anything and everything. And I remember, but she was kind of, I guess, training or testing us, whatever we kind of fell in love with or was passionate about or even talented, she would help us pursue it. My brother's an artist, and I remember we would go to Mexico across the border every Sunday, and she would take them with this world-famous artist that would have classes there at the museum on Sundays.
Wow.
Because she knew that he had talent.
Well, that sounds like you had an amazing mama. Is she still around?
Yeah, she's still around. She's alive and kicking. I just got off the phone with her.
Fantastic. It sounds like an amazing mama that used to tried to throw all kinds of things at you and see what sticks. So of all the things that she threw at you, was she still with horses and doing her dancing and such as you were growing up? Or what was she doing with you? A little
bit,
yeah.
Yeah, she would help us a lot. She was very hands-on. And I hate to say this, but I think that now the role of a mother has really changed.
I hope not. I hope the role of a mother is still being a mother. The kids need that. I really do.
No, absolutely. Yeah, I have one son, and in fact, right now, he's one of those They grow up with the technology, gaming, sports. So he's actually right now at a basketball game. He's a sweeper over at the university. He just loves it. So he's very excited about that.
Is he playing basketball?
He does play basketball. Okay. He plays the violin, and he's very well rounded.
Yeah,
he's in
you
the
said
GT program.
You were very leading when you were talking about him, saying that he played video games, but then you said he's playing basketball, and I said, "Whoa, well, that's good." Kids don't play outside that often anymore, and I miss that. I know I used to stay outside all the time, and I'm sure in your day you had the opportunity to go outside and play. Don't stay inside all the time.
That's something that I think excursions, camping, skiing, swimming, that kind of thing is really, momentous. You really, have to get that going. I know when we travel, we get out, and, we have a lot of fun together, which is wholesome, nurturing, and I really love it. I love that connection we have together.
Excellent, Anna. Okay, so we're talking about your mom, your wonderful mom, as she threw a lot of things at you. All right, what was the first thing she threw at you that stuck? Or a few things that didn't stick? What was the first thing she threw at you?
Well, I always danced, like I said, Yeah. I remember, of course, she had her business too, and so we always had really cute outfits, and she really kind of gave us the example, I guess is the word I want to use. She exemplified fashion and looking good, and how it's always like, almost like the dress code's enforced. You know what I mean?
Well, you say
don't walk out without makeup. You have to look good and polished and smell good. You can't just, some people, you're in college, you throw on flip-flops, a tank top, throw a stick of gum and a cap, and they're good to go, but that didn't fly in my household.
No, I suspect you're right. If you're going to go out, don't go out in a ripped up T-shirt. Go out. Be respectable. You never know who you're going to meet up with, and you're learning that from an early age. You say she had a business. Was this the equestrian business, or she had something else going on?
Always, my dad worked for the government. He was, agent, and we always had properties, and my mom, she did a couple of things. She was a chef for many years and sold, it was called Celebrity. It was like fashion, costume, jewelry, and I remember she was like the number one salesperson. I'll never forget. She won a trip to New York. No, this is like serious.
No, that's great.
So she was selling in El Paso, and then she sold all of Mexico and had tons of people under her. She went to go meet the owner. She got to design a couple of, interesting fashion lines for them. I remember one of the first things that she designed, there were like these hoops that matched your horoscope. She's an Aries, and so they had the ram. It was like the two rams facing each other in the shape of a hoop. And I was thinking, wow, that's pretty cool. Like, whose mom does that? It's really neat to me. I always remembered that about her.
Well, Anna, it sounds like in addition to giving you your foundation in fashion, she also gave you a work ethic. Whatever you do it the best you can. She excelled in this so much so that she won trips to New York. Fantastic. That's something that you learned from your mother. And now you say when you were dancing from 3, was that actual dancing classes or learning from your mama?
No, I was under the Catherine Clark studio.
Wow.
And she was a well-known dancer. We would perform. We always thought she was so one program. It was really nice. Really did it. You put on a little bit of makeup, and some people have dance. So I did the dance.
Fantastic. And did you go all the way to company girl?
I did. I remember it was like 13. My lunch kind of changed a little bit. This year, a few months ago, flamenco. I hadn't danced in 10 years, I'm not going to lie to you, but I went to the flamenco convention in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and studied with dancers. Came down here, did on workshops, all sorts of stuff, and it was fabulous. And I feel like I'm a little, I haven't danced in 10 years. They're like, no, you're doing great.
So most people take a wrong turn. Most people take a wrong turn at Albuquerque, and you went to Albuquerque and flamenco danced. Fantastic. And you feel like you still had your dancing legs?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
After all this time, good job, girl. See, more butter for your bread coming up. Kudos to you.
That's right.
So you were dancing. Okay, you're a dancing girl from 3 years old. What was the other thing that Mama threw at you and stuck?
Well, for me,
the making jewelry.
I was really when I started designing, which I had my own line of clothing. It was called Homicide Clothing.
And when did that start? You said 13?
In 94. No, this was in 94. But before before 94, when I had my store, and I was going to trade shows and everything with my line of clothing. I took my friends; they were my models, and I got a lot of orders and everything. So it was really nice. That was in 94.
Oh, okay.
But
so after high school. Okay.
Yeah, but before then, my friends, for example, they're like, oh, I'm going to a dance, not so much prom, or I have a date, I have this event. I would style them, believe it or not. I would style them, or I would help them pick out their clothes, or I would make their outfits.
Oh.
Back in the day, I remember Jean-Paul Gaultier, which is one of my favorite designers. Betsy Johnson, she was a very big inspiration for me. Vivienne Westwood, Karl Lagerfeld, Chanel. I love Alexander McQueen. So for me, during that era, Jean-Paul Gaultier.
Yes.
Of course, this was like 88, 90. I would go clubbing. I would go to these gay clubs. The San Antonio Mining Company and the OP, and a lot of my friends were drag queens.
Okay.
And so they would ask me, hey, can you make me this outfit? Or they would see me in my outfit, and they're like, oh, my gosh, I got to have it. I'm performing in a week. Can you have an outfit very similar to me, blah, 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 or whatever? And so then I would make them outfits. My friend was also a dancer, had his full-on dance studio that later moved him. I was going to move to Miami, but I didn't. Mm-hmm. He ended up moving to Miami. Robert Hawkes, true story. He didn't have the look to work for Disney or go on tour with Janet, but he stayed behind and was a choreographer for NSYNC.
Excellent.
And so I remember, would have shows, and I would do some of the costumes for him, too.
So how did your friends know that you had this skill? When did you develop this skill for making clothes? Who taught you?
Because they would see me out. They would see me out, and I told them, oh, well, I made it. They're like, what? Yeah, I made this. I made this outfit.
So you were Andy from Pretty in Pink, making all your cool outfits.
Oh, yeah, because nobody, like I said, either you would have to order. I remember back in the day, I think it was like Bogey's catalog from London, where you had to, this was before, the internet and all that stuff.
Oh, so yeah, I remember catalogs.
You had to buy, either you go out of town, or you would source it out somehow, or make it, and that was it. Those were your only options.
So you chose option C and went to the thrift stores, found some suitable clothes, cut them up, and made your own fashion. What was your influence for that fashion? Was it all MTV, or was it the European magazines that you were looking at? Or
I think both, because just to give you an example, even the Sex Pistols, Malcolm McLaren and, of course, Vivienne Westwood were together, and they would put everything together, from image, clothing, music, everything. It's like product branding now. You know what I mean? People might have not thought about it back then, but that's exactly what they were doing.
Fantastic, Anna. When did you actually put a brand on what you were doing, and when did it become something to where you were actually able to make some money off of this? Was it when you got together with the drag queens and they said, "Make me a costume"? Were you able to make some money off of that, or was it something you were doing?
I would. Yeah. I mean, you have to be business savvy. I mean, I wouldn't make it for free. I would definitely. I remember, one of my first customers, her name was Devin DeGaulle, and she was a good performer. And, I put one of her looks together. I remember because it was, if you don't start off the right way, people are going to step all over you. I said, well, you have to pay me half now and half on delivery.
That is smart right there.
So it was one of those things. It's like, got to do it,
Well, now when you got out of high school and you went to the Art Institute, how long did you spend in the Art Institute?
Gosh, I was there a year actually, and then I went to Europe. I did a study abroad. I was in Germany and in France.
Wow.
For about 6 months, I lived out there.
So what did you learn?
Back, I was right there where everything was going on. I mean, Paris is the fashion capital of the world.
Agreed.
But Germany was really good too. I mean, I remember going to Andre Matisse, which is now H&M.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
So
that was back, when I was there. I remember they had the full name, and I was like, oh, yeah, I'm very familiar with H&M.
So you really do have a great foundation in fashion, in marketing, and even other, just the dancing part is fantastic too. That shows that you're well-rounded. And so what other things did Mom throw at you that stuck?
Well, just to give you that positive, feedback, encouragement that you have the effort and power and skill. I think really, now just to have that good foundation,
Absolutely.
just to even say I love you, I think means a lot.
Okay, and I know you kind of brushed on Dad a little bit. Secret agent, man? That sounds exciting.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, he worked for the National Labor Board when we were in California, and then he also worked for the IRS. He was an IRS criminal investigator, and then he worked for U.S. Customs. He was a customs agent, and then he's retired now. He's 85, but still alive and kicking.
Fantastic. I mean, that sounds every boy's dream is, hey, my dad's a secret agent. He's a G-man.
Right.
Hey, we used to get those stories in school. Sure he is, Brad. Sure he is. But you actually had that happen. And okay, so
yes.
you had 3 siblings, a younger sister and 2 older brothers, and one of them's the artist. What other things did the offspring get into? Your brothers and sisters.
My older brother, he's in Arizona. He's a criminal investigator for the IRS.
Okay,
my
that
other
influence right there.
An artist. Yeah, my other brother's an artist, professor, and myself, I'm the fashionista business owner. And my youngest sibling, she is a scientific analytical writer.
Nerd. Fantastic. I say nerd with the most loving, that's fantastic. So it sounds like, whatever your family wanted to do, whatever your brothers and sisters wanted to do, it seems like your mom and dad were supportive in that. Am I correct?
Yes. I mean, I think a lot of parents, even nowadays, I've you watch them on TV and movies and even just in real life, where it's like, the kids might have a dream and they don't really, push them to excel.
Right.
They don't encourage it.
Tiger mom.
Well, it happens. It's like, you know.
Okay. Well, all right. So we have a fledgling business in 1994 where you're making clothes. I'm guessing on a smaller scale. When did you ramp up, Anna? And when did it become a clothing line? And what name did you put on that?
Well, I started, like I said, custom making stuff for people. Like, I remember my brother's girlfriend. Lovely. She was really voluptuous, and so it's hard for her to buy stuff off the rack. So I was like, oh, I know, that's like a niche for that. Okay, so I already knew that. I knew that custom stuff would be kind of a gateway, I guess, to develop, and so then I started buying, like, basic fabrics, like a roll is 60 yards. So I got, like, some fun fur. I was making jackets, coats, vests, some kind of like velvet velour, kind of ultra suede fabric. I was making hip huggers, dresses, because it was a 4-way super stretch, so people loved it, And I was, me and my 2 friends that were drag queens also knew how to sew, so we made all my patterns. I said, oh, let's do this. So I made all my patterns. We did samples. I was like, okay, I'm going to go to New York. Me and 4 other people rented a booth to go to the trade show at the Javits. So we went out there to the, fashion trade show. And my friends, were dressing up in the clothing. We had a fashion show. We were getting clients.
And these are all your patterns that you designed yourself.
Yep.
That's fantastic. Yeah. And this is in the mid 90s that you're going to New York?
Yes, that was in 96.
So 96, just 2 years after you get out. I guess you get back to the States around that time. How long did you spend in Europe? The 3 years?
I was there 6 months.
6 months. Okay. All right. The timeline, I think I embellished a bit, but you spent some time at the Art Institute and then you went to Europe for 6 months and you gained a lot of knowledge, I'm guessing, on that trip, did you?
Yes. I always tell people, not just for fashion, but it could be anything. I think if you have the opportunity to travel, you can really just expand on your self-growth. And you tend to become, multicultural, about other people's issues and life boundaries and,
okay,
stuff like that. But you can't really, get textbook.
So interacting with the Germans and the French, do you speak those languages or did you grasp a little bit of it?
I speak a little bit of German, but not really, because the family that I actually stayed with in Germany was Spanish, and they liked, to speak in Spanish or French. So I didn't really.
Well, how great was that?
Get a whole lot. So.
Was that by design, or did you get to pick the family?
No, it's just like random. Like it just coincidentally,
How about that? A little Spanish girl goes to Germany and gets together with a Spanish family. How about that? Well, that was good. So there was no language problem there. So you
no
did
language
learn,
barrier.
you did learn, and then you came back and you start your career as a fashionista, designing your own fashions and going to, one of the meccas of fashion. You went to New York and you decided to put your clothes on display, and you had your friends as models. How did that go?
Oh, it went great. It was fascinating. I mean, it's a rush. It's just, your proud time in your life. It's just so many things happen.
Well, when you do this, is it to sell your fashion line to a bigger company or to display your fashion line so you can start your own company?
No, it's like when you go to the mall. You go to the mall and you go into Sears, just hypothetically, and you buy a coat.
Yes.
The buyers from Sears had to go to a trade show or order it from somewhere, whether it's a local person, a big-time manufacturer, they go and they buy these items. They're called buyers. They buy them so they can retail them at the location, or online or whatever. So I would have buyers from all over the world. I remember selling stuff to Germany, to New York, to Oklahoma, California, Vegas, Philadelphia, New Jersey. I sold stuff to a pretty good market.
Anna, what was the scale back in 96, you doing all this? Was it many items, or how many people did you have working with you?
I had a small, here in El Paso, it's not like Guangzhou, but it's definitely a manufacturing mecca.
Okay.
So back in the day, like Levi's, was one of the main people that was here. Farrah was here. There were so many denim, Wrangler. There were so many denim companies that would manufacture here because I guess there was cheaper labor or whatever, and then they eventually outsourced to Mexico and other third world countries. But here during that time, that was the situation. And so then a lot of people would manufacture here. And when they weren't cutting and sewing for Levi's, you could go and say, hey, you know what? I have a line of clothing. I have this run. Can you work it for me? Sure. So they would produce it for you. Tons of people. I remember it's free for a little while. Ralph Lauren, all sorts of people were manufacturing here.
Very cool. Okay, you're giving me a little inside skinny on how the fashion industry works. That they have these factories that are there to produce clothing lines, and if they're just sitting there, nobody's making any money. So if somebody's not producing a clothing line, then they're available to somebody that's just starting out or somebody who wants to produce something else. Now, was that a cost to you, or did you split profits with them, or how does that work?
No, you have to outsource it. It's like say you go to Kinko's, for example, and you want to make a copy. Of course, they have all the equipment, right? So They're going to charge you however much, whether it's 16 or 20 cents for the copy.
Okay. So did that end up being profitable when you designed the clothes? And I guess you went all over the world with these things in 96. So you've been doing this for quite some time. Was it very profitable at first, or how did the business grow?
Well, I think at first you just kind of do it because you're like, wow, you want to do it. You're excited. You're just kind of maybe breaking even. And then the more you produce, the more you sell, the more you make money.
Yeah.
But I think just like with everybody, and then you have to get your numbers right too. Okay, well, it's going to cost me. I'm just going to give you a hypothetical, analysis here. So the fabric is, say it's going to cost you $10 to make the coat. So $10 for the fabric, but then you have to have buttons, and then you have your overhead on making the outfit. So the outfit could cost you $5 to make it. So you already have to retail it. And I'm just saying on the low because you should always double your money, right? Mm-hmm. So that coat, you're going to have to retail it or wholesale it for $38.
So who was taking over who was in charge of the numbers on this? Were you doing this all by yourself?
I was doing everything by myself. It was just
on.
So it's just one of those things, and sometimes you might be on or off. So it depends. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things that go into making something from scratch to the front door, to your door, that people don't understand. Like now, people say, wow, Amazon. You can find anything on Amazon. But they don't look at the backstory or how it was component. It was a thought. It was a design. It was put on paper. It was, you know what I mean? It's like they don't know what all it entails.
Right. But were you learning this as you went, or was this something that the knowledge that you got from the Art Institute?
I think it was both, really. I don't think, I never finished my degree at the Art Institute.
Okay.
I'm lacking a few credits. I could probably go or call them, hey, and they'll probably give me one, or I could just take whatever I'm lacking, which wasn't a whole lot.
Sure.
But at the same time, I got my bachelor's, I have my master's, and a lot of people say, oh, why don't you get an MBA? And I was like, I don't think I could learn anything that I've learned on my own.
So what did you get the bachelor's and the master's in?
I got my bachelor's in multidisciplinary studies, which is like 4 concentrations. You don't have to just do one, which I really liked. It was perfect for me.
I like that too. I get bored with just one thing.
Yeah, so then you have kind of like 4 minors, but and it's nice. It's good. So
what
I
were
got
you studying?
a
What did you end up with?
I did communications. I did Chicano studies.
Huh.
I did French, and I did marketing. So I did 4 concentrations.
These sound like very helpful things to have in your arsenal. That's fantastic, Anna. I'm super stoked. You had a passion from a young age, and you developed it pretty quickly. I think after you got out of high school, you were already making clothes for your drag queen friends, and that's great because drag queens got to have the great fashion. Were you making huge outfits, or were you making stuff for them to be Liza and be Madonna and all the standards and be Cher, the standard drag queen icons? Was that what you were designing?
It ranged. Some people wanted like the glamour girl, and some people wanted like the street chic, clubby look. I mean, it just really depended.
Because I can appreciate that fashion. I'm from Miami. You say that some of your friends went to Miami. I'm from Miami and the Florida Keys. I can appreciate all that lifestyle and the fashion that it brings. It really is fascinating. And what's funny is I'm here in Arkansas, just about 30 minutes north of Little Rock, and we do have a couple of gay clubs in Little Rock, and I DJ'd a party at the Discovery, which is our biggest one. Well, I guess it might not be the biggest one, but it's one that we had, and I remember that there was a drag show, and it was nice to see a whole nother side of people. And somebody had to design those clothes. And this is somebody like you, Anna. You were designing those clothes. Now, did you like designing that type of clothes? Or what is your favorite type of things to design? And what was your first influence when you were designing clothes in the mid 90s?
I think for me, just because, like I told you, my influence was the music. That the videos that would come out on MTV.
Right.
Initially, and then people that you liked, that you enjoyed listening to.
Right.
That was kind of like the first step for me, really. Like, oh my gosh, where am I going to find this? I'm going to make it, even now, like the Madame X tour is coming on, and oh my gosh, it's like, I have to have that outfit Madonna has. You have to replicate it. You have to make it. You have to, even take it a notch, higher.
All right. So, so spinning forward from 96 through the years, what else were you designing? What were your influences, and how did your business grow from there?
I mean, it was anything and everything. I mean, it was from just basic T-shirts to customizing items. People wanted outfits for work, or people just wanted to look good. Sports enthusiasts. I mean, I had clients that were like bartenders. Okay, my boss wants me to wear a jersey. Jerseys aren't sexy. Jerseys are, they're just jerseys. They're made for guys, and then they might cut it smaller for a girl, but other than that, it's like, there's nothing to it.
Okay, so you're talking to female bartenders. Is that what you're
Yeah, so just to give you an example, okay. I've styled and made stuff from like a roller girl to a drag queen to a bartender to even strippers to up-and-coming artists. I had these artists that would come from Mexico or from Latin America, and I've styled them and sold them stuff. There's people that that have come here through the film commission. They want to make movies and film certain movies here. And I've sold them wardrobe. I've custom made stuff for, oh, you know what? I need this look or this kind of outfit for this club scene or whatever. And, you know, here I am. And I was able to do that for them.
In 96, were you working out of your house or did you open a storefront?
No, I had a store. Yeah, it was called Millennium Club Gear.
Millennium Club Gear. And that was in El Paso or where had you moved by then?
So, yeah. And then eventually, like, I would sell stuff on eBay. And I kind of changed my look a little bit. And it was Third Millennium Boutique.
Cool.
And, you know, I had it till like 2005.
So what kind of clientele were you catering to?
Everybody. I mean, I was selling stuff online, people that were in groups, you know, like I had whole entire bands would go in there. Hey, we're getting ready to go on tour. We need to kind of freshen up our look, blah, blah, blah. Okay, you need this, and that, you know, from head to toe, from shoes to hats to jewelry.
So was this ready to wear off the racks or was this stuff that you were designing per person, piece by piece?
It was both. It was both, actually.
So you had the sewing machines running in the back room and you had a storefront full of ready-to-wear clothes already?
Yeah, I had both.
Fantastic. How many people were working with you at this time?
Oh, gosh, I had 3 locations. I actually had a store inside the new OP. It was a huge club. It was a gay club because I would always have my fashion shows and we would have theme parties. So once they opened up the new club, they opened up a ginormous club. It was like our version of Studio 54.
Excellent.
And had the best, you know, sound system. You know, I mean, it was just, during that time, it was like really cool. So anyways, I had my store inside the bar.
Who had the foresight to put a store right there where the people were? I mean, what if they? Yeah. How amazing is that? Whose idea was that?
Well, I had always, you know how people do pop-ups now and stuff, and it was funny because that I was selling stuff to drag queens, and here I was with my clothes, and, you know, in the back dressing rooms and stuff, and here, and so then Bob Bonaventure had, you know, the view. He goes, hey, Anna, you know what? We're opening up the new bar, and I was thinking that maybe you could have a store up there. And I was like, fantastic. I mean, it was very innovative and progressive for the time. You're right. It was.
Very. Oh, my goodness. That's amazing. Why not take it to them? So, okay, you say you had 3 locations. You had the main one that was that you had the sewing machines in the back room, I'm guessing.
That was in the university area, yeah. And then I had one downtown, and I had one in the club, and then I had my showrooms, and then I was selling stuff, you know, online. I had my own site. And in fact, I told him, hey, you know what? I want to have a cigarette girl. So I had a cigarette girl that I had dressed up in her really kick-ass outfit with a cigarette tray, and she was selling cigars and cigarettes and bubble gum. And
this is at the OP.
This was at the OP.
Fantastic. Who had and you had the idea to do the cigarette girl.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I was a gay-friendly store. I sold all the GLBTQ, you know, the flags, the stickers, T-shirts, all kinds of stuff.
Multifaceted, and a good job. Kudos once again. Let's put some more butter on that bread.
Yeah.
You're doing well, and this is in 10 years. From 96, you're selling piece by piece to different friends and drag queens that you've met up with, and you've expanded from there. I mean, until 2005, you had all these stores. And where did it go from then? There, Anna?
Well, my store burnt down. There was always competition. I was bringing in entertainment. I was bringing in DJs. During that time, the rave scene was really popular. I was throwing, you know, parties. And I don't know exactly what happened, but rumor has it that one of my competitors was like, oh, she's a girl, she's young, we're going to put her out. And they burnt down my store, and I had to start up from scratch again, which I did, but it was never the same.
Anna, it's like that in the fashion industry?
It's so competitive everywhere. It's cutthroat. I hate to say it. Everybody, there's always some type of frenemy out there.
Yikes. So was there an investigation? What came of that?
Yeah, no, but nobody ever, everybody kept quiet. Nobody ever, there was a lot of different rumors. That was one. The other one was that the landlord just wanted to redo the place. I mean, there's just so many things. At the end of the day, they said that there was like a Molotov cocktail kind of bomb thing that was thrown inside, and who knows who threw it in, whatever. At this point, I mean, I've moved on, of course.
Anna, nobody knows
New
nothing.
York. Yeah, I moved to New York, came back here, dedicated myself to my studies. I had my child. I worked corporate America. I campaigned for the Hillary Clinton campaign back in 2008.
Wow.
I worked for Coca-Cola, the #1 brand in the world. I worked for Mesilla Valley Transportation. They're the blue trucks that you see on the highway. Everybody sees them. I was in logistics. Yeah, I mean,
You're throwing a lot at me.
I've done a lot of things.
How was New York when you went to New York? Okay, your place burned down, and what did you do in New York? Yeah, what took you up there?
I had my fiance over there, and we lived out there for a while. And then I said, God, I just need to finish my school. I feel like, and he was ill. He passed away from acute pancreatitis, and. We had our son together, and, I'm very blessed to have my son. I'm engaged, now currently, and, life is good. I don't have any complaints.
Yeah. Well, Anna, you've had a life, and you're still having a life. So
I'm still doing it. And
okay.
My kid is calling me on the other line.
Oh, okay. I mean, family time is good. I mean, I do want to get to what you're doing now and what's the future of Anna and Pret a Porter. And I did see where you have Pure Vita tequila and the Coca-Cola. I saw a little bit about that on one of your social medias, and I wanted to ask a little bit about what makes you? Are you still doing the Coca-Cola freestyle?
No, not right now. I worked for Pura Vida Tequila after I was one of the managers over at Specs. It's like Bevmo or Total Wine. I did that, and so then from there, I got a career move to work for a sole brand, which I was a brand ambassador for Pura Vida Tequila, which is a Helven craft tequila. And it was like my little baby. I started it up. I really, I had this territory here in the Southwest Metroplex. It's from Houston. One of the owners is Stuart Kloss. There's a lot of different random investors, from big-time moguls to the Bushes to all sorts of people. And some of the other big-time players are Sully Erna from Godsmack and Billy Gibbons from ZZ Top.
No kidding.
So, you have to go out there and, you put your product out, retail and wholesale, on-premise, at all the liquor stores, and then, at restaurants. And yeah, so I had a lot of fun with that. It's very interactive, engaging. It's a brand that you're pushing and you're making,
Yeah, I'm looking at it. It looks pretty fancy. I like the blue bottle, and looks like there's at least 3 different types of tequila with the yellow, the green, and the red. But that sounds like something pretty interesting. And how did you get involved with that?
Well, I worked at Specs, and one of the we had an event there with Billy Gibbons where they do bottle signings, and my store, they only wanted to order half of the amount. And I said, no, we need to get all the stock that's left and available because we're going to sell it out. And we did sell it out. Excellent. I talked to the owner, and he really liked me. He kept my, information. And when something popped up in the area, he called me and he wanted me to come on board and work for him.
See, once again, if these are things that Mama instilled into you, and obviously you picked up on it. If you're going to do something, do it to the best that you can, and do it right. And it looks like you put your all into everything that you do. So, okay, from 2005 to now, where are you at? What have you been doing?
I moved to New York. I came back. I had a child. He's 13 now.
Hey, all right.
Yeah. So, I worked, in all those different, facets. I worked, I graduated from, my master's over at UTEP at the University of Texas at El Paso. And then from there, I went to work for Spec Liquors and Finer Foods. I worked for them. And then I worked for Mesilla Valley Transportation and Pura Vida and then Coca-Cola. And
I was working for Coca-Cola. And what is Coca-Cola Freestyle?
Cola refreshments, and they do Freestyle. Freestyle are the new machines that came out that you can make however many flavors you want on the machine because they're custom. It pours different amounts of syrups and stuff. So
I have seen those at the sub shops. Oh.
Mm-hmm.
And were you involved with installing those or promoting those?
I was promoting and selling them to all over. I mean, I had the biggest accounts. I was always a top producer. I had, Fort Bliss, Biggs Field, which are Army and Air Force. I had the universities. I had MSU, which is in New Mexico. I had UT El Paso, and then just large conglomerate,
There you go, Anna, putting your all into everything that you do. You're working for Coca-Cola, you're going to be the best. You're working for Pura Vida, you're going to be the best. You're working for Pret-a-Porter, you're going to be the best. So when did that start? Pret-a-Porter fashions. We've already established that's ready to wear. What is that, and where can they find that?
Yeah, I'm located in El Paso, Texas. I'm online. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. You can always follow me and find me. You can always shop online as well. You just swipe up on anything that you're looking for that I have available there. Right now, I opened up, like I said, 3 years ago, back in 2016, after I finished working with Coca-Cola. I got a severance pay and decided, well, gosh, I'm working 60 hours a week. I should just open up my store again.
Yeah.
So basically, that's what I did.
Okay. Now, I haven't seen the store. I've never been to the store. I hope one day to get there. I suspect I'll be in West Texas one of these days, and perhaps I'll stop in. But is it a very big store?
It's about... Well, let me tell you something. I used to be right in the university bar entertainment area, but of course, your overhead is pretty high there. And then I was pretty much enclosed because they had a urbanization where they were putting in a trolley system. So I didn't renew my contract there, and I decided to move. And somebody I knew was opening up a store in a very popular area where there's two intersections kind of in the downtown area, which are two main streets, North Mesa and Montana. And so at that point, she invited me to go in with her. So we have three businesses in one location. I have my Pret-a-Porter fashions, and then she does oddities, which is Tooth and Veil El Paso oddities. They do vintage and silversmith jewelry and upcycling and kind of stuff like that.
Well, I'm looking.
So we're there.
I'm looking at the pictures, and they're fascinating. The fashion itself is quite eclectic. Is these things that you have designed? All the fashions is designed by you?
Some stuff is my designs, and then other stuff is stuff that I've ordered that's off the rack.
Fantastic.
But most of the stuff I carry, I want you to know, is imported.
Yeah, all the
Either
stuff
like
I'm
I
looking
have
at online, these are things that if you want to feel like a rock star, if you want to feel like you're at the height of fashion, I suspect if you jump into Pret-a-Porter Fashions in El Paso, Texas, they're going to make you feel like a rock star. I'm looking and I'm seeing nothing but, if I put some of this stuff on, I'm going to feel like, wow, I could do anything. I'm going to feel like a hero. I can get up on stage and rock the house with your Pret-a-Porter Fashions.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that. I mean, I've had all sorts of clients, from professionals to, oh my gosh, my son's in a band, an attorney. My son's in a band, I really, if they're filming a video, I want a really cool shirt or a jacket, boom, they come to my store. Or, I even had like a customer, I remember she's like, God, I looked at your window and that's all I could see was a window from my old storefront.
Right.
But she came back and she was like, wow, you have everything I'm looking for. I'm new in town. I just moved here from New Orleans. And I'm hosting a Priscilla Queen of the Desert party.
Come on.
So, she came and I had these beautiful, authentic, like Mardi Gras type of, carnival, feather headpieces and masks and everything. And I mean, she bought them all.
Oh, yeah.
It was one of these eccentric parties. I mean, people flew down just to come to this party.
Oh, she said Queen of the Desert or even Tu Wong Fu. I think they've come to the right place. I invite anyone that's even remotely interested. Just come check out that Pret-a-Porter Fashions in El Paso, Texas. I'm so stoked. I'm so excited to have been talking to you. Anything else you want to tell the people?
Just, be true to yourself, shine like the star you are. Don't let people put you down for whatever reason. If they're like, oh, why are you wearing that? Trust me, you cannot be a follower. You have to be a trend setter.
Oh, I've never met a hater that was doing better than me.
So please follow me on my handles, Pret-a-Porter Fashions, on Instagram and Facebook. And you can always inbox me, message me, anything you need as far as a fashion emergency. I'm here to help you. This is Anna at Pret-a-Porter Fashions.
Well, there you have it, party people. Anna of Pret-a-Porter Fashions in El Paso, Texas. She had the beginnings, the building blocks of being a fashionista. And throughout the podcast, she proved it time and time and time again that she was built and made to be in the fashion industry. She's been all over this planet of ours pretty much, especially in the fashion meccas, going to Paris and New York and even California and finding fashion and making fashion and coming up with things. Now, just judging the pictures that I've seen online of Pret-a-Porter Fashions in El Paso, man, it looks like a cool store. Just one of those stores that you want to go into and you come out looking like a star, just feeling different. You go in there wearing your jeans or your khakis and your polo shirt. You come out wearing a feather boa with a long fuzzy coat and big old boots. Oh, and maybe some high heels with the spikes on them. No judgments here, not even a little bit. Man, I think it's a pretty cool store. I look forward one day to going by and checking it out in person. Thank you so much, Anna, for chit-chatting with me on the What Makes You Famous podcast. I hope that millions, thousands of people show up at your store over the next few months and buy up all your wares, so you have to keep working and making more clothes. And just, that's the creativity that goes into making clothes, making your own patterns. All right, maybe there's a little jealousy in my voice. I wish I could create something from nothing, but I need people to help me do that. So I guess we created a podcast together. Thank you, Anna. for being on the What Makes You Famous podcast. If you want to tell your story, yes, you, the listener. Everybody has a story. I encourage you. Give me a call at 501-470-6386 or email info@radiowhat.com. That's it for this edition of What Makes You Famous. It's Keys Dan, RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com. Peace. I'm out of here.
Radio What? The music you want with some great quotes. Every increased possession loads us with new wariness. John Ruskin. The music you want. RadioWhat.com. Tweet, yo. Follow Radio What on Twitter at Radio What Twit. Tweet, yo.